Welcome back to GlobeTrotting, trying to hit 40,000 by year's end, so do be sure to subscribe. The 757 is a true workhorse of the aviation industry, and has had a place for many decades. But it has faced a problem recently. As market demands have shifted, Boeing has found itself in a bit of a sticky situation, without having really a dedicated replacement for the type, and lacking in a market that promises a lot. Would therefore a re-engine to get back into the space be possible? Or is the reality that there are too many obstacles preventing them from doing this? Let me explore that very question. The Boeing 757 was first introduced in the early 1980s, and the release of this aircraft carved a niche where the versatile and fuel-efficient narrow-body, paired with its unique capabilities such as transatlantic range, meant it was a very favourable option for airlines looking to serve diverse routes. However, production of the 757 ceased in 2004. It is hard to believe that we're approaching 2 decades from this moment, and with production ceasing, it has left a void, arguably a void that would only begin to hurt Boeing many years later. With any industry, there was evolution following this decision in the early to mid-2000s, particularly in the middle of the market sector, leading to a surge in demand for aircraft, with capacities and also range capabilities falling between your traditional narrow-body and wide-body. Airlines truly wanted a plane that would be versatile enough to operate short to medium to also long-haul routes, giving rise to this middle-of-the-market sector once more. Ideally, these airlines would want a plane that was capable of achieving a lot without the complexities of being a wide-body or even a quad-engined plane. One series that is doing that very well would have to be the A321. A substantial amount of talk around a 757 re-engine actually can be directly attributed to the success that Airbus has experienced with the just touched on A321 series, especially following the introduction of the next generation A321neo, and I couldn't forget here the derivatives from that. This program has redefined the single-aisle travel experience, not just for customers who remain on the fence with longer-ranged operations with a single aisle, but for airlines that can now efficiently serve markets previously out of reach. Through the years, Airbus has continued to develop its A321, seeing niches that they believe they can address. The A321XLR, and even the existing A321LR, intensified the competition in this segment, with these planes offering impressive range capabilities that you could say really encroached on the traditional 757. As airlines expressed interest in the XLR and similar variants, many saw alarm bells begin to ring. Maybe not alarm bells at the American plane maker specifically, but rather for them. How would Boeing address such demand in a competitor series that was advancing so quickly? Well, maybe instead of opting for a clean sheet, a short-term solution, according to some analysts and even members of the aviation community, could have been a 757X style plane. This would have been a 757 that would have undergone significant updates, including incorporating new fuel-efficient engines, potentially sourced from the latest technologies that are available. We would see advanced avionics, aerodynamic enhancements, and a maybe revamped interior that would have all been part of a comprehensive package that would ensure this aircraft would have high standards for operators nowadays. Adding to that, the 757X would have retained the aircraft's core strengths that made the previous version so popular to so many airlines throughout the years. Despite the evident market demand for a successor to the 757 now, at different points in the industry, Boeing faced significant challenges that really ultimately led to a decision where relaunching the program was out of the question, and really there was only one way we would see a new plane in some capability like a 757. I'll get onto that part a little bit later, but for now, the challenges. One of the primary challenges, though, was the struggle to source suitable engines for the 757, as highlighted in a very thorough analysis from Leham back in the mid-2010s. In their analysis, which can be found below, it became evident that even if Boeing wanted to progress with such a re-engine of a very loved program, there was the ever-pressing problem that the options for engines would be very limited. As a result, there would not be much wiggle room to strive for better efficiency. Additionally, there would be a substantial wait to get the plane up and running, as while it wasn't a clean sheet, a lot still needed to be done before a launch could be possible. Leham was quoted at saying the early 2020s as the absolute earliest for such a plane, which in hindsight may have made sense time frame wise, but that is if we're completely ignoring what's happened in Boeing's history and also the industry's history in recent years. Aside from the engines, there were other concerns such as production, a pretty important part of getting a plane up and running. Whether it's 2015 or now, the reality is that production of the 757 ceased many decades ago, and the issue of getting this restarted is far harder than one may presume, and would come with substantial costs and resources that would need to be dedicated to sorting everything out, because all these key things have disappeared as Boeing has transitioned to new planes. This issue, while you could argue with time and money, could be overcome. It undoubtedly presents question marks over whether it would be truly worth it for the long run. Had Boeing initiated a 757X project in the mid-2010s, it might have secured, yes, a more favourable position in the market and been able to compete better with Airbus's A321 series, but would it have really been a standout success for the long term, or would Boeing just be going down a similar route that they have been for quite some time now, and that is just re-engineering and re-releasing planes? Does that mean these new engine planes are not a success? No, but according to all their indications, they want this next plane to be revolutionary, and a 757X wouldn't really be that. The delay in responding to the changing dynamics has allowed the A321neo and its variants to really solidify their presence in the market, making it more challenging for Boeing to regain this competitive edge. This is a significant factor when many consider the stance that Boeing has on this sector. Boeing's ultimate decision to not relaunch the 757 was intertwined with its broader strategy, which saw a shift in focus towards a new mid-size airplane. The NMA concept, as many of you would be aware of. This would be a clean sheet design, and if it had released, would have redefined the sector. But in the end, the decision to delay a NMA or new aircraft until the 2030s indicated Boeing's stance of, you could say, whether they were willing or unwilling to really cede ground to Airbus. However you choose to look at it is up to you. Boeing's new plane, when eventually launched, will likely aim to address the evolving needs of airlines, offering a comprehensive solution that goes beyond the capabilities of a 757, and I would like to think a re-engine of a 757. By launch, this could be 3 decades from the 757's production close, and while experiences with this iconic series will no doubt be factored into the type of plane offered, Boeing's next entry will aim to be groundbreaking. So should Boeing have launched a 757 as a re-engine, say dubbed the 757X or 757 MAX? Well, while on the surface, you could quickly say it seems like a good idea. Several analysts have identified many issues about such a move, and I've only really touched on the surface of them. A clean sheet, while yes is costly, likely would have made more sense for Boeing, and still to this day many would argue does. However, with no plans to move ahead with this new plane, many believe it is too late for Boeing to now enter this market with anything that is worthy of an upgrade. They'll just need to wait and face the fact that Airbus will enjoy a lot of success over the next decade. And for Boeing, well, their next plane they'll hope to hit the ground running with. You can let me know your thoughts on the 757 program and its future within the industry down below in the comments. Thank you very much for your support. Please do take care and do also be safe, and I'll see you next time. And we'll fly.